Ever looked at one of those genetic cross problems and your brain just shuts down? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. So in this explainer, we're going to break down complete dominance. I'm going to give you a foolproof, step-by-step method that'll turn these questions into easy marks on your grade 12 CAPS exams. So here's the game plan. We'll start with the genetic code book, the basic lingo. Then I'll give you my secret recipe for monohybrid crosses. We'll walk through simple case study, then the classic one you'll see all the time. And to finish off, we'll crack the exam code with some key tips. Sound good? Let's jump in. Okay, let's dive in. First things first, right? We can't solve these problems if we're not all speaking the same language. Nailing these next few terms, it's literally the foundation for everything that's coming up. You've probably heard this before, right? How come you have blue eyes when both your parents have brown? It's not magic, it's genetics. And the answer is all wrapped up in a few key terms that explain how this stuff gets passed down. So imagine your DNA is this giant, massive instruction book for building you. A gene? That's just one single instruction in that book. A sentence that says, make the fur black, or make the stem tall. Okay, so if the gene is the category, like eye color, then alleles are the different options within that category. You know, blue eyes, brown eyes, green eyes. They're just different versions of the same gene. This one's super important, so listen up. Genotype is the actual genetic code, the letters, like a big T and a little t. The phenotype is the physical thing you actually see, like the tall plant. Here's the trick. Genotype is the genes, and phenotype is the physical appearance. Easy, right? And boom. This brings us to the main event, complete dominance. Think of the dominant allele, the one with the capital letter, as the loud one at the party. If it shows up, it's the only one you're going to see. It totally masks or hides the quiet recessive allele, the one with the lowercase letter. And this is another super critical distinction. Just remember the prefixes. Homo means same, so homozygous is two of the same allele, either two big B's or two little b's. Hetero means different, so heterozygous is one of each, a big B and a little b. You absolutely have to get this right to set up your crosses correctly. Okay, we've got the language down. Now for the how. I'm about to give you the blueprint, the foolproof recipe for solving any of these monohybrid cross problems. Seriously, this is your key to getting full marks.
Pay attention here, folks. This isn't just a friendly suggestion. This is the exact format your exam markers are looking for. It's a 5-step recipe. Step 1, P1, the parents. Step 2, meiosis, making the gametes. Step 3, fertilization, using the Punnett square. Step 4, F1, the offspring. And Step 5, the ratios. You follow these 5 steps in this order every single time. It's how you guarantee you don't lose any easy marks. All right, enough talk. Let's actually use this recipe. We're going to start with a really simple cross, a classic example using fur color in mice.
Okay, step 1 of our recipe, the P1 generation, the parents. First, we state the phenotype. What do they look like? Well, we have a black fur mouse and a brown fur mouse. Then the genotype. The question says they're purebred, which is our clue word for homozygous. So the black mouse is big B, and the brown one is little b. Next up, we need our Punnett square. So let's think about the gametes first. The black parent is big B. That means it can only pass on a big B allele. So we put those gametes along the top. The brown parent, little b, can only pass on a little b. So we put those down the side. Now the fun part. We just fill it in. Big B from the top meets little b from the side. That gives us BB. Next box, same thing. And the next, you guessed it, all 4 boxes end up as big B, little b. Every single possible offspring has the exact same genotype, B. And this is just a perfect example of Mendel's law of dominance. Every single one of the offspring is heterozygous, BB. But what do they look like? Well, since that big B for black fur is dominant, they all have black fur. The brown fur trait looks like it's completely disappeared. But, spoiler alert, it's just hiding. Okay, now for the big one. This is the cross you're going to see over and over again in your exams. What happens if we take 2 of those kids from the last generation, 2 of those heterozygous mice, and cross them? So let's set up our P1 again. This time both parents look the same. They both have black fur. That's their phenotype, but their genotype is heterozygous, big B, little b. And this is key. They are both secretly carrying that recessive allele for brown fur. Time for another Punnett square. This one's a little different. Since both parents are BB, each one can make 2 types of gametes, one with a big B and one with a little b.
So we put both options along the top and both options down the side. Ready to fill it in? Top left, big B from dad meets big B from mom. We get BB. Top right, big B meets little b, we get BB. Bottom left, little b meets big B, we still write that as big B little b. And now for the moment of truth. Bottom right, little b from dad meets little b from mom, giving us BB. And there it is. The trait that was hiding, the brown fur, has just reappeared out of nowhere. So let's break down the genotypes. What do we have? We have one box that's homozygous dominant, BB. We have two boxes that are heterozygous, BB. And we have one box that's homozygous recessive, little b. That gives us our classic genotypic ratio, 1 to 2 to 1. Remember that one. But again, what do they actually look like? Let's check the phenotypes. The BB mouse? It's black. The two BB mice? They're also black. Remember, because black is dominant. It's only that one little BB mouse that ends up being brown. So if we count them up, we get 3 black mice for every 1 brown mouse. And that is the famous 3-to-1 phenotypic ratio. You'll see this everywhere. Okay, so what's the takeaway here for your exams? Let's wrap this up by looking at the most important points and, more importantly, the common mistakes that you really need to avoid. Honestly, these are the silly little mistakes that can cost you so many marks. Please double check your capital and lowercase letters. Don't mix them up. A huge one is forgetting to write down meiosis and fertilization in your steps. Markers look for that. And always simplify your ratios. If you get 2 to 2, write it as 1 to 1. It's these little details that make all the difference between a pass and a great mark. And really, that's the bottom line. I know this can feel a bit much at first, but it's just a pattern. It's a puzzle with a predictable answer. If you really learn the lingo, you memorize that 5-step recipe we went through, and you just practice, I promise you, these will become some of the easiest marks you'll get on your exam. You can totally do this.